Hello, I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel, guys. In this video today, I'm just going to be getting stuck into some of the stuff that's going around in European football now as pre-season continues to roll on. I've got a little list of some stuff that's developed over the last couple of days, some things I've just seen on Twitter, transfers that have been confirmed, developments within different clubs that I just find really exciting and really promising for the next year. And I just thought, you know what? It's a nice little list here. Let's just get stuck into all of it in a nice little video. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Please do get involved in the comment section down below in terms of all the stuff that we're talking about in the video today, the transfers, the clubs, etc., and their viability in SO5. At any point in the video today, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble and let's get stuck into it. If you could hit the subscribe button, I do daily global football content, everything from Wonder Kids and Rising Star Managers to fantasy football and watch-alongs. That will also automatically enter you into my April giveaway. This month I'm giving away a rare under 23 goalkeeper in the Turkish Superliga, Diego Souza, and 2 limited goalkeepers. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, the first thing in my list I'm going to come to is I seen this tweet from Zach Lowy, who does the Breaking the Lines podcast, great journalist on Twitter, one of these blue tick accounts that's got really good kind of breaking news, especially for like Portugal and France and a few other different divisions. Really good account to follow. And as I read that, the first thing that came into my mind was you would have to be barking mad to sign Paulo Dybala in this current transfer window. He's currently unattached. Like the Inter Milan thing, I don't think it's going to happen anymore now that Lukaku's came in. And I started thinking, who could sign Dybala? Like, and then the next thought that comes into my head is it has to be one of these clubs that has really bad transfer business written all over them. And some of those clubs are kind of gone now, you know, like, will Newcastle be there for a gimme? I think Newcastle could definitely be tempted by the lure of having someone like Dybala come to the club. Would he go to Newcastle? I think his preference is going to be to stay somewhere quite exotic. The fact that he's trying to stay at Inter Milan after leaving Juventus does tell you his main aspirations isn't really on the pitch, it's more lifestyle. And with his injury record and everything that's been kind of going around him for the last 3 or 4 years, like the guy that scored the hat-trick against Real Madrid in the Champions League isn't really there anymore. And I do feel really any team that would be taking them on, even when I'm thinking even a wee bit wider afield, like I think he could do okay at Newcastle. And when you look at the sort of form that Dybala is capable of when he is in a team where he will be getting decisives and he has other players to link up with and make assists, attempted assists, this kind of thing, then he can be effective, but I don't think he's really got it in him. I wouldn't even be surprised to see, because of the whole kind of agent, you know, kind of skullduggery that needs to go on to get a guy like Dybala into a club really at this stage, because he is a free agent, he is unattached. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at somebody like Wolves or Roma or Lille, or, you know, I've seen like fans at Marseille crying out for him. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see a move like that kind of happen, but like, so I think so many of those moves just scream failure and downward decline on him, which is a real shame because I was a big fan of Dybala when he really broke onto the scene at Juventus. I hadn't really seen much of him before at Palermo and whatever. But, you know, beyond those teams I've mentioned, I really do struggle to think of anywhere tangible, viable that he could end up and be like a really good player. And currently when I look at his price, he's like 1.2 ETH. I just think it's crazy for somebody who's a free agent. I think the best case scenario is you're hoping he flies across the Atlantic and either goes into Argentina or MLS or something, but I don't think at 28 he's got that on the cards really, to be honest with you. Like I say, I think lifestyle and that kind of thing is much more important to him. And as I'm thinking, I'm not even sure there's many teams outside of, I'm not sure there's many teams in Spain or France. I don't think any teams in Germany entertain Dybala, and in Spain and France I don't think there's much going on, you know, so he's really scratching about Italy and stuff like that. I think it's a real shame, and I think he's going to be, unfortunately, you know, a transfer to watch out for. I think it could be, you know, where he ends up is a big part of this, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him somewhere that we would expect to be beneath him, because like PSG are not going to come in for him. Monaco don't spend the money the way they used to, and I don't think he would really fit their team anyway. Inter, AC, Lazio, I think are all kind of said don't really need a guy like him. Maybe he could go to Atalanta, I don't know, but you know, it's quite a small town. I don't think that's really in keeping with probably the sort of profile he's trying to maintain. And then I can't see him going to Holland, I can't see him going to Portugal or anywhere like this, so it's one of these weird ones. And actually, as I'm kind of thinking about this as we're talking about it, like Saudi Arabia and like you know, the Gulf nations have been very active in this transfer window, and you know, for the right price, you know, it's not beyond something. You know, he wants big money, he likes big money. I think if, you know, 6 figures were put on the table, I think he would play anywhere, to be quite honest with you. 6 figures on the weekly, one for the watching. Now this one is kind of breaking to us as of today, and this actually took me down a nice little kind of train of thought, if you like. So Bologna have signed Lewis Ferguson from Aberdeen for a couple of million quid or whatever, and they're buzzing, he's buzzing. I think it's a good move for all. Will it be good in actual SO5 in terms of will he be a 60 plus, a 70 plus scorer? It's kind of really hard to say, but I think for his career and for the Bologna have done really well at talent ID, and those kind of guys like Lewis Ferguson's, and as we're going to look at in a second, there's guys that they've sold already, like Tomiyasu to Arsenal and one or two others, and some of the guys have still got in their club that are really good acquisitions by them, and they're playing some good football around that. What is important is the arrival of Lewis Ferguson, coupled with what feels to be a good pre-season for Sidney van Hooijdonk back at Bologna after a loan spell out at Heerenveen. This could be a nice U23 kind of little striker midfielder tandem set here, and neither of them are particularly cheap, but both of them are U23 qualified. Bologna do play these guys, and along with guys like Louis Binks, obviously Aaron Hickey's on his way to Brentford, but even Louis Binks, he has cards. He's U23 as well. He's 20. He's had a season in MLS and a season and a half in Italy as it stands at the moment. So there's actually a nice little kind of U23 thing going on here at Bologna, and they're not great, as you can see, right? But in some of the games, look at this, a 2-each draw with Udinese, Soriano here with a 61 with no decisive, Svanberg with a decisive, this could easily be in place of, Lewis Ferguson could be in the middle here, bagging 56 points or something like that, and upside Orsolini and Musa Barrow and whatever, we've got Van Hooijdonk knocking around, so that could be something to... And Tiati, how could I forget Big Tiati? He wasn't actually enlisted in that squad thing a second ago. I wonder if he's transferred. Yeah, he is still at Bologna. I knew there was another name in that team that was worth recognition, and especially in the defence, and it is Tiati. So again, I wonder, let's just do this for shits and gigs. It's a fun looking U23 team, isn't it? Forget the goalkeeper, I've just put him in there as a place saver. But it's not particularly cheap, but it would definitely be fun. And when you're stacking a situation like this, if they are all to play in the team, and Van Hooijdonk and Binks definitely aren't nailed on, but even that Tiati Ferguson combo, could be the main play. But I like that kind of transfer business. I like to watch clubs like Bologna, how they operate. I don't necessarily always watch them on a weekly basis, but then when the opportunity does come up where I'm like, oh, Bologna are playing Inter Milan or something, and I get exposure to watching a team that I kind of admire some of the business that they're going around. I think the acquisition of Lewis Ferguson is really good, and I'm looking forward to see what else they do in the transfer window. And ideally, picking up Tiati and Ferguson here at around the same kind of age as Van Hooijdonk, that's a little triplicate. These guys are meant to mature. It's under 23s as well. All of these guys are U23 until the end of 2024 is when they all age out. So at point of recording, you've got 2 full calendar years of U23 usage between the 3 of them, and that spine, if you like, of one ETH for a U23 European contingent that all play in the same team, and a team that is happy to play guys of this kind of caliber to eventually sell them, then could be a nice little play and a nice little differential. Any more cards that they bring in could just add to that. If they brought in someone really big and powerful from an SO5 perspective, there could be a game winner and a real captain in that team that would replace the Binks, if you like. Now, of course, I had my heart broken this week when Vinicius Souza went to Espanyol, but earlier today this kind of piqued my interest. I actually reached out. There'll be another video coming out on the channel going through some more detail, just so I could get to... I know there's a kind of cult fandom around the Espanyol manager. At that point of recording, I'm still not clued up. But Vinicius Souza going there, I don't think is an absolute write-off. It just was for me economically on sorare. But today they have signed goalkeeper Lecomte. Well, I can't really pronounce his name, I'm sorry. But a really good goalkeeper. I can't remember where he was in France when he made his name. But a transfer to Monaco and a loan to Atletico Madrid or whatever it was. He's kind of disappeared for about 3 or 4 seasons. And if he's going in as a number 1 goalkeeper to Espanyol, I think that could be a great addition to them. Espanyol really struggled to just not concede goals. They did play okay. The couple of occasions I watched them towards the end of the season, and they had a good vein of form with guys like RDT, Raul de Thomas, and 1 or 2 other players in their team had some good veins of form, certainly. But I think the signing of Lecomte could be a real kind of gateway signing that they can now try and solidify and maybe maybe Espanyol could be one of these teams similar to like we've seen over the years with like Valencia or Betis and Seville and whatever. They have a puncher's chance of getting top. Sociedad, Atletico Bilbao, they are one of the teams that just kind of comes out of nowhere. Getafe qualified for Europe about 3 or 4 years ago, don't forget, and make a kind of make them one of the stories of the season. So I think that's actually quite an important, quite a telling signing within La Liga, because La Liga is one of these leagues that is very competitive and not a lot splits so many of the teams, and key differences like this in terms of like getting a great goalkeeper who's just kind of at his wit's end, kind of similar to Joe Hart at Celtic almost, if you like. But just much less prestigious in every way, shape and form. The unfortunate thing about Lecomte is he only has 6 cards, so his price is jacked and he's just not got the supply at the moment. But definitely one to watch for next season for sure. And then the last thing that kind of happened over the last couple of days that I really thought, wow, that is an amazing development for the dynamics within that division, is Lazio going full Sarri. It feels like, really sticking with him and backing him in this transfer window. They've just signed Luis Maxiano, they've let Strakosha go, Pepe Reina is now gone as well, he's away to Villarreal or something like that, I'm sure. And now they've also signed Alessio Romagnoli from AC Milan. He turned down Fulham and a couple other kind of tier 2 teams like that, if you like, to go to Lazio and be the main centre-back. Now, I'm not too sure exactly how Sarri is going to build the full-back forward here, but those two components are absolutely massive. Luis Maxiano is one of the best up-and-coming goalkeepers in European football, and Romagnoli is a time-served Serie A veteran, So to kind of take this next evolution on, and because like Sarri's been there now for long enough, he's made enough transfers that the Sarri ball system is pretty much there up and running. And Lazio have had some really good results under Sarri in the last season. It's kind of went under the radar because of how kind of unfashionable Sarri is in the mainstream media of European football, really. But also, on top of that, one of my picks for what could be one of the, I don't know, let's just call it random chances of being a good U23 midfielder. I think there's actually 2 in the Lazio ranks. The first one, and probably the safest bet of the 2, is Marcus Antonio. He's just transferred in from Shakhtar. Now, the whole time I've been on Sorare, Shakhtar cards have been available, and Marcus Antonio, from all the different scouting reports and data analysis and whatever I've read, is the only guy I've ever been moderately interested in buying as a Shakhtar card for the sort of football he plays, what other teams kind of scout him and rate him and all that kind of stuff. He's transferred to Lazio. He plays CDM. He plays like very good. When I look at Lazio and I look at Marcus Antonio now being in this team, let's have a look at it. Right, Milinkovic-Savic is going to be linked away to every team in the world, right? Luis Alberto, Lazio are quietly trying to sell him for big money because his contract and whatever, right? But let's say they both stay. Cataldi's done very well, and if you actually look at Cataldi's AA, it's actually very good. But I think Marcus Antonio being in there like over time as the season goes on, I think that might be the evolution. He could be like the Jorginho with this team, really. And if he has an upgrade on Cataldi, he's younger, he's up and coming, he's got a high ceiling, that kind of stuff. Equally, it could be replaces Luis Alberto or Milinkovic-Savic if one of them was to be sold and moved on or whatever. So I think no two shakes about it. Marcus Antonio is going to be in this Lazio midfield throughout the season. How often will he be a starter? Will he be a starter from day one? Who knows? But Lazio are digging in with Sarri, and Sarri will be there for. I don't think you build a team around a manager like Sarri. I think that was a big problem with Juventus, especially, to then just if they're not winning halfway through the season, bag him. I think he's got patience. I think he's built up some clout and collateral within the squad, within the club, and I just think a signing like this is very telling for where he sees the future of this season going forward, where they are going to strengthen. Lucas Leiva's obviously out the door, a bit of a veteran, so maybe Cataldi is going to be the number one, but Lucas Leiva was used in some important matches and relied on for big scores, as you can see here. Didn't always get 90 minutes, which was maybe his downfall, but I think Marcus Antonio is definitely capable of replicating the minutes and the scores required to be seen as an out-and-out must consider midfielder this year. The other one, which is a bit more speculative, is a boy by the name of, if I can find him, Luca Romero. Now, this boy is 17, but he looks like prime Hernan Crespo, it must be said. He does have a wee bit of a babyish kind of hue, I suppose, but he's definitely doesn't look 17, but he's very highly rated. He doesn't have a rookie card because he debuted in Argentina before coming to Lazio, and under Sarri, I can't say this enough, but somebody who is dogmatic with their football coaching as Maurizio Sarri, for him to give a kid minutes, he must be impressed. And number two, he must fit the Sarri ball system in some way, shape and form. So I would only expect to see his minutes continue. There's no meat on the bones here in terms of raw SO5 data or anything. But a kid like this at 17, he is U23 eligible until 2029. A high prospect Argentinian wonder kid at Lazio. I think, he could be a really good one. The unfortunate thing with him is he's a bundle card and his price is double what Marcus Antonio's is, and I actually think Marcus Antonio bang for buck is much more appealing than a Luca Romero, but equally it's another one for you to consider, because I feel that Lazio this year, Lazio finished 5th, but as all these Italian teams do, they will look at Napoli and think we should be them, as well Roma, as well Fiorentina and Atalanta. They've been up there in the past, so that kind of top 8 section of Serie A is getting even more competitive, and Serie A football was really good to watch last year and the year before in good spells. Inter Milan and AC Milan have been good fun to watch. Juventus and Napoli have had lots of dramas that have made them entertaining for different reasons. But I feel that Lazio might be coming out now. And as you can see with their results last year, 10 draws and 10 losses, that's very easily changed from, you change, how many points are they off Juventus? They are 6. You change literally 3 draws into wins, and that's your 6 points right there. What's the goal difference? Oh, it's tight, isn't it? I think they maybe... What would that be, 19, 20? Yeah, but if they're going to win, they'd probably have taken that 4th spot off Juventus by converting 3 draws into wins, which is easy to say in retrospect and whatever. You could even say, 6 of the draws or 6 of the losses into draws or whatever. But I feel that Sarri is one of these guys that gets more and more out of a team the longer he's there. And this is definitely a situation I'm more than excited about watching. And Luis Maxiano, by the way, who's kind of started this off when I seen that's a U23 goalkeeper as well. So there's a lot of interesting developments across the pantheon of, the sorare SO5 arena, under-23s, champ mids, specialist, underdogs, under-23s, all that good stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share and retweet and all that good stuff. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Let's get into all the giveaway stuff before I let you go. I'm still doing monthly giveaways and I'm making it easier to enter. If you want to be entered to win this month's prize or any future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, you need to be a subscriber to enter, then leave a comment down below. Each month, a random comment from a random video will be selected as the winner, so the more videos you leave a comment on, the better the chance you've got of winning any of my giveaways. All the winners are announced at the end of videos the same way as we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed the video today, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. On screen now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.